It rolled in yesterday. We're talking thick wildfire smoke likely worsening today. The impact on air quality and the alerts you should know about on Sunrise.
And as wildfires continue to rage across Oregon and Washington, how do you keep the smoke from getting inside your home? Expert tips on how to keep your air clean.
Plus, all the wildfire smoke is forcing events and parks across our area to close. Everything you need to know if you were hoping to go to Oaks Park or the Tuesday night market.
Today is also the Washington primary. We have a look at some of the top races, plus the deadline to turn in your ballot ahead as your News at Sunrise starts right now. Well, good morning and thank you for joining us on your Tuesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchik. We will get your weather and traffic in just a minute. But first, we are tracking some breaking news in Southwest Portland where police are investigating a homicide. Now, this is near the ICE facility, but we want to make it clear that police say at this point, there is no indication that ICE is involved in this in any way. Now, this is a live look at the scene on South Bond and South Bancroft Street. Our crews just arrived at the scene there. We will bring you the latest as soon as we can. But for a look at how this is impacting traffic, want to head straight over to Chris McGinnis.
Yeah, it is, Matthew. Thank you for that. So this is I-5 at McAdam. The McAdam exit ramp appears still to be open, but this is McAdam just north of where that investigation is ongoing, and there has not been any traffic getting northbound through that area. Additionally, ODOT is confirming that Highway 43 or South McAdam is also blocked southbound between Gaines and Bancroft. So this impacts people trying to get south onto Highway 43. You're probably going to want to take another way around at this point. We're working to get more details on this, and China, it's just as soon as we have them, we'll bring them to you right here on Sunrise.
Thank you, Chris. Now let's turn back to our weather impact alert this morning. Rod, you are tracking high temps and a lot of wildfire smoke.
Yeah, and let me tell you, my attention to the temperature is decreasing. What's increasing is my attention to just how bad the smoke could get today. We do have the weather impact alert up now all the way through Thursday, and it's mostly for smoke today and tomorrow. The temperature range anywhere from struggling to hit 90, which is not a guarantee, to no warmer than 96 in parts of the valley where the smoke might be a little thinner. Here's a look at the air quality indice map from Washington and Oregon at this hour. Most areas east of the Cascades flat out unhealthy to even very unhealthy. And notice the orange dots from Clark County all the way down into Lane County. That's now in that unhealthy for sensitive group, so respiratory issues tend to bother you. But the thought is we could very easily end up with just flat out unhealthy air today, as this thick overcast you're seeing over the state capitol, it's all smoke, will not improve and it may even thicken. 53 is the number. Here's the same look of the smoke from the Wells Fargo building in Portland, and 61. I have us 81 noon. I have us 92 at 5 o'clock. If anything, we could hold into the 80s. Again, take these air quality alerts seriously and realize air particles can do damage to your lungs and bring on other health issues unexpectedly. Back to you.
Thank you, Rod. Well, a shooting investigation is underway right now in Gresham. It happened along Southeast 185th Avenue just before 1 a.m. this morning. Gresham police say one person was taken to the hospital and no arrests have been made.
And fire investigators are working to determine what caused a warehouse on Northeast Columbia Boulevard to catch fire. This happened just before 11 o'clock last night. Portland Fire and Rescue had to disable an electric fence that was surrounding the building. On top of the building being on fire, officials say multiple vehicles had gone up in flames. Crews were able to put out the majority of the fire in 20 minutes. No one was reported injured.
Amtrak service between Portland and Seattle is suspended through Friday because the old Centennial Mills building in Northwest Portland could collapse. The 116-year-old building caught fire on Sunday. It overlooks the train tracks just north of Union Station. Now officials worry the building could collapse. Amtrak is working to find alternate bus routes for riders. Riders can also rebook their trips for no additional charge or get a full refund.
Authorities in Washington have arrested a man in connection with the most destructive wildfire burning in Spokane. The suspect, 37-year-old Aaron Farinacci, is accused of arson for intentionally starting what became the Old Trails fire. Hundreds of structures, including many homes, have burned in that fire. Witnesses told police they saw Farinacci bending down in a grassy area on Saturday. Then they saw smoke coming from that area. Emotions running high in Spokane last night as people learned about the arrest.
Kids are probably going to have to go to counseling for dealing with all that with PTSD. Like, her daughter has anxiety, man, and to find out that, like, somebody started that, like, there's
Terrible.
a lot of families. A teacher that I work with right behind my house lost everything that he had, including his pets, and, like, to know that that all could have been avoided is heartbreaking, man.
Court records show Farinacci was previously convicted of manslaughter in Arizona. The Old Trails fire is one of 3 burning in and around Spokane. All are still uncontained and thousands of people remain under evacuation orders.
In case you missed it, Oregon has now surpassed the record for the most acres burned during a wildfire season. We are up to nearly 2 million acres burned so far this year. That's the size of 22 Portlands put together. Right now, there are more than 50 active fires in the state. The closest major fire to Portland is the Grasshopper Fire. That's burning southeast of Mount Hood and has burned more than 31,000 acres. On its southern end near the Pine Hollow area, nearly 200 homes were in harm's way. Luckily, fire officials say no homes have been lost, but weather conditions, especially the wind, big concern for crews.
We have Mount Hood, which is a big giant rock, and the wind changes as it goes around and makes an eddy. And so as that wind comes around, we might have wind changes. So when we think we're going to have wind coming from the west, it funnels back in and it changes it and it brings it back into us.
Crews were able to get some containment lines around the fire. Right now, it's considered 17% contained.
We are tracking air quality alerts and growing health concerns across the Portland metro area. Smoke from fires in central and eastern Oregon has made its way into the valley. Now, the orange dots that you see on your screen, those represent air quality that's unhealthy for sensitive groups. The red, that's unhealthy for anyone. And the purple, which you can see around Mount Hood National Forest, that is very unhealthy. Now, this is a video showing the sun setting over the Vancouver waterfront last night behind a layer of smoke. And many organizations are canceling events to help keep people safe during this week's hot weather and poor air quality.
That includes Oaks Park, where outdoor attractions are closed today. That means no rides, mini golf, or picnics until the air quality improves. The roller rink will still be open since it's inside. Oaks Park ticket holders will be contacted by email for rescheduling rides and activities. All the smoke is also causing concerns for local government agencies. Agencies like Hillsborough Police are calling off their National Night Out party patrols and nighttime market due to the smoke. Gresham is postponing its own night out event that was also set for today. Meantime, C-Tran operators have been advised to avoid turning away anyone looking for a ride to a cooling center. And officials in Clark County say their 911 center is getting a ton of calls from people experiencing medical problems because of the poor air quality. The Department of Environmental Quality says there's no safe amount of wildfire smoke to breathe in. So that means for people with pre-existing conditions, young children, and other adults, it's best to stay indoors. But what about the smoke coming into your house? Well, the Energy Trust of Oregon says there are a few things to keep the smoke out.
One of the first things that you can do is just sealing up all the little gaps and cracks around your house. Think your windows, your drafty doors, your vents.
If you use a window air conditioner, experts say to make sure that the outdoor damper is closed. For a larger system, switch to fan-only mode to keep clean air inside. You may need to replace your filters more often during wildfire season and use an air purifier if you can. Energy Trust of Oregon is offering discounts and free shipping on some air purifiers. We have a link to that in this article on KGW.com.
And with the resources stretched thin and a growing need across Oregon and Washington, we are activating our Northwest Response Fund for those who need help. You can donate by scanning the QR code on your screen. Those donations go directly to the American Red Cross to help those impacted by wildfires in eastern Washington and throughout Oregon. If you want to donate in person, just visit any local U.S. bank branch. We also have a link to the fund over at KGW.com.
And stay with KGW as we track the ongoing wildfire emergency across the Pacific Northwest. You can find the latest anytime on air on KGW.com or on our free streaming apps.
Well, back to that breaking news in Southwest Portland where police are investigating a homicide.
This is near the ICE facility, but we want to make it clear that police say that at this point there is no indication that ICE is involved in this in any way. Libby Dowsett just got to the scene. So Libby, what can you tell us?
Well, guys, we are here along South Bancroft. I'll step out of the way. This is a street well known to Portlanders if we've been covering that coverage on the ICE facility. Again, Portland police saying there is no indication at this point this building is related to this car that you may be able to see one block down. We've been blocked by crime tape, so we are stretching our zoom one block down to see this car crashed into a building. Now, from a different perspective from where we are right now, you can see what appears to be a person on the street in front of that car. Again, no confirmation on what happened here yet. We are told by PPB that someone is on the way to brief us. But right now we can see a car that's crashed into a building straight across the street from the ICE facility. And we are standing on South Bond, of course, by the apartments that we've been doing many stories on, dealing with the tear gas and smoke drifting into their building from the ICE facility. This car has crashed into the building right across from the ICE facility. So again, across from those apartments, across from the ICE facility. Macadam Road exit has been closed down. Traffic is being diverted around the area. And so that's the latest from here right now. We will give you the latest information as we get word from the police department. Again, you're asked to avoid this area because all of these roads around here are blocked off. Back to you.
All right, Libby Dowsett reporting live for us. Thank you so much, Libby. Meanwhile, taking a live look from our Skycam over the Vancouver waterfront, now the Council for the Homeless is setting up cooling shelters in Clark County. The shelters at the Living Hope Church and St. Paul's Lutheran Church will be open today through Friday evening. Pets on leashes are also welcome at St. Paul's.
Cooling shelters are also opening up today in Marion County. The Arches Day Center on Commercial Street Northeast and the Arches Family First Resource Center on Broadway Street Northeast in Salem will be open today through Thursday to provide a safe, cool place for people at risk. Pets are welcome. They will also be providing cool beverages.
All right, want to get back over to Rod. We do want to note that we haven't received word yet on cooling shelters if they'll be open in Multnomah County today. But not only the warm temperatures, but of course the air quality is the real big story.
Yeah, it's worth noting if you have a job where you're going to be outdoors today, you need to keep your eyes on an app or something that gives you access to what the air quality indices are. Right now they're unhealthy for sensitive groups, meaning if you tend to suffer from respiratory ailments, you would want to keep yourself indoors as much as possible today. But quite frankly, with the east wind flow continuing and smoke still pumping into the valley, we could end up with air quality just flat out unhealthy for anybody and everybody, not only in Portland, but down the valley and even potentially all the way to the coast. Much of our state, the gray shade here, is under an air quality alert. I'm not spending a lot of time talking about the heat advisory because I'm not even positive we're going to get up to 90 today. This is a thick wildfire smoke. It's just like having a thick cloud deck. And the thick cloud decks can hold your temperature when compared to a sunny day, 5 to even 10 degrees cooler than what you were thinking. Yesterday, forecasted 87, it was 82. Are we going to hit 90 today? Maybe, maybe not. Here's the air quality map. It is moderate, so not as bad along the coast where you're farther away from the source of the smoke, which is coming from the east side of the Cascades. But from Clark County all the way down into Lane County, it's basically unhealthy for sensitive groups. And then you get worsening air, generally unhealthy or even very unhealthy east of the Cascades. Here's the smoky overcast in the valley. That's Willamette Valley Vineyards. And here's Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront, just as smoky. And there was Providence Park, briefly just as smoky. Temperatures 50s and 60s out the door. Generally, temperature-wise, it's not bad outside. 53, in fact, in Salem. Later today, weather models like 80s central and eastern areas. They like getting up to 90 or warmer in the valley and the gorge. But again, this temperature forecast is a guessing game. I've dropped my forecast high all the way to 92, thinking it may be only upper 80s today. Similar tomorrow. Thursday, by the way, is the day that westerly winds will be back. We'll see improving conditions with thinning wildfire smoke and then more comfortable temperatures going into the weekend. Back to you.
Thank you, Rod.